Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Yaqub and once again I welcome you to my IELTS prediction video for exam in February 2019. Many of you were asking me to make a prediction video, what is going to happen in the test and all that. Let me tell you one thing clearly, nobody can predict exactly what is going to happen. But actually I'm making this video not only for prediction but also for a preparation plan. So this video is prediction video plus a preparation plan for February 2019 exams. Let's take a start with listening module. In February, as you know, it happened in January and the first test of January was a little difficult. In February, listening, actually there is one thing, I've noticed one thing, British Council conducted exam in Lahore and they had two separate exam centers. One was for academic, one was for general training. So for academic exam was different, even listening was different. For general training exam was different, listening was different and all that. So all over the world in February, several IELTS tests are going to be conducted. It's just not one test that will take place all over the world. There are several tests. IDB has got its own tests, British Council, they've got their own tests, IELTS Australia, they have their own tests, some universities in USA, they are conducting IELTS, so they have their own tests and all that, but sometimes it happens they have the same test. Anyways, let's talk about listening. I'm going to tell you about prediction and preparation both. In listening, the first thing is you guys need to master one word only. There is a question type which is called one word only, and whenever there is a question type one word only, you need to focus on noun and verbs, because most of the time, I mean around 80 to 90% answers are related to either nouns or they are the verbs. So you need to focus on nouns and verbs when there is the question type one word only. So in February also there is going to be the question type one word only. Now let me tell you, there are two sections where they might give this question type one word only. Either it is section 1. If one word only comes in section 1, this is going to be easiest one, right? Or it comes in section 4. I'm talking about listening. So this one word only might come in section 1 and in section 4. So you have to be ready for that. And you have to be ready for that means just pick up all the IELTS books and find where there is the question type one word only. You can practice from there. The first thing. Second, there are two more question types which can be common in IELTS exam in February. One of those is basically multiple choice. So there can be some questions or there can be a lot of questions. Some questions means there can be around 3-4 questions or 4-5 questions. A lot of questions means section 3 can be full multiple choice, okay? So you need to be ready. And again I tell you, whenever you take your practice test, whenever you practice for listening, now don't practice test by test. Now you need to practice question type by question type. I mean first practice only one word only. Then practice just multiple choice, then practice just table completion, then practice just short answer questions. So this is how you guys need to practice. So in listening, as I told you, one word only in section 1 and section 4, there can be some questions about that. And whenever there is the question type one word only, you guys need to focus on verbs and nouns. 70 to 80% answers are either nouns or verbs. The first thing. Second, we cannot ignore map. Now, I'm not sure the center where you are going to take your IELTS test, whether they give map over there or not, but maps are common usually in section 2. So what you guys need to do for section 2, you need to prepare some maps as well. There are 2-3 types of maps. There is a type of map where they give you all the places in questions A, B, C, D, and on the map they give you A, B, C, D, and then you got to match them there. Sometimes they give you options down there and you got to just write the names of the places and all that. Let me tell you about map. The bottom line is this: you guys need to practice prepositions of location, prepositions of place, then expressions to tell way or to give directions. You can easily Google all three things. Just go to Google and write this exactly and you will find these things. So you need to learn prepositions of location, prepositions of place, then the phrases for giving directions. Once you learn these things, math will be a piece of cake for you and you will get full marks in math. And there can be some sentence completion or table completion type of questions. So you need to be ready for that as well. That's the main thing which I told you. After listening, as far as reading is concerned, academic reading is going to be tricky. I know, you see, this is just not that in February only academic reading is going to be tricky. For the last few years, IELTS reading has become difficult now. Why it has become difficult now? Because let me tell you, IELTS is the gateway. IELTS is the gateway to immigration. IELTS is the gateway to foreign education. So if they give you easy test and you guys are getting full bands in your IELTS, then you will be going to foreign countries and they will have some trouble over there. So what are they doing? Basically, I've noticed this thing, that in one test, sometimes reading is difficult. So that who are targeting 8,777, they should fail in reading, and other 3 modules they get good bands. Sometimes listening is very difficult. Those who are targeting higher band in 3 modules, they get good band, in 1 module they don't get. So this is how they are playing with listening and reading. I cannot say writing is difficult. Writing is never difficult. I cannot say speaking is difficult. Speaking is never difficult. It's just listening and reading. And sometimes both are difficult. 5 years ago, 7 years ago, IELTS test was not that difficult. But now it's quite complicated. I told you before, they shuffle the tests. They know that, okay, this is difficult reading. We put difficult reading. Easy listening, sometimes difficult listening, easy reading, so that the process continues and all that. Sorry about that, but this is one of the things. So as far as reading is concerned, it's going to be tricky. I'm talking about academic reading. What you guys need to do, you need to get ready to understand the passages about science, technology, research, information, and things like that. Although section 1, section 2, section 3, out of 3 sections, a couple of sections, around 1 or 2 sections are going to be moderate. They will not be very difficult. But chances are section 3 or some type of questions in section 3 are going to be difficult. That is why I would suggest please practice difficult tests. In Cambridge IELTS books, we've got book number 11, 12, 13 academic. There we have some difficult tests. So I would recommend you go for book 11, book 12, book 13. Practice from there and practice the difficult tests. So when the difficult tests will come over there, you will be more comfortable. Let me tell you one thing. You guys need to raise the standard of your preparation. Just you need to increase the standard of your preparation, and then there you are. Even if there is the difficult test, for you it will be easy. It's not going to be difficult because you will already be prepared and you will already be anticipating that. So you might have a difficult section in your IELTS reading. The question types are going to be the same. There will be fill in the blanks, there will be short answer questions, true, false, not given, that's a must thing, okay. There will be multiple choice questions and there will be some other type of questions like that as they give in reading. So you need to get ready. Again, I would say my recommendation is book 11, 12, 13 academic. There it is going to be fine. As far as general training is concerned, a good news for general training candidates, section 1 and section 2 are going to be the easier ones as compared to section 3. But again, what is easy and what is difficult? If you know English, if you have good English, then everything is easy for you. So it is going to be difficult for those who do not have good English. Yeah, difficult is even if you have good English and still you come across something which is difficult, that's what we can say. So for general training, section 1, general training reading, and section 2, general training reading, they are going to be quite easy, not that difficult. And the question type, let me tell you another good news. questions and answers, they are going to be in the same order in many type of questions like true, false, not given, sentence completion, if there is a summary completion, right? Even if there is that multiple choice, the questions and the answers, they are going to be in the same order. But let me tell you, section 3 can be a little unusual. Now, what do I mean by unusual? There can be a topic you're not quite familiar with. I mean, I don't know where you're giving your IELTS exam and you get a topic and you have knowledge about that topic and that topic is familiar. I'm talking about common students. So the topic can be a little unfamiliar, right? Not too much, but a little, because you know, in general training, they give you the passages about social needs and all that. So it can be a little unusual, right? You'll be a little unfamiliar with that, but otherwise it's going to be okay. The question types which you're going to get in section 3, mainly they are going to be like true, false, not given. There can be some sentence completion questions. There can be even yes, no, not given, multiple choice, summary completion. Out of these questions, there are going to be some questions in section 3. So for general training students, let me tell you, even your marking criteria is different. You guys are getting 6 bands when 30 answers are correct in general training reading, and academic reading, they are getting 7 bands when 30 answers are correct. So you need to work really harder. And let me tell you, whenever you practice in section 1, there should not be a mistake at all. I'm talking about general training reading. In section 2, there should be 1 or 2 mistakes, and in section 3, try to get as many as possible, but at least the first 2 sections should be mistake free. Then you can target 7 bands, 7.5 bands, like that. And as far as writing is concerned, just relax, calm down. In writing, first let me tell you about general training writing. There's going to be a letter and the topic is going to be very simple topic, and on that topic there will be a letter. It can be a letter of request or a letter of apology, but mainly I think it's going to be a letter of request where they will give you a situation, or maybe it can be a letter of inquiry where you need to inquire about something, but the topic is going to be so simple and easy to understand. So good news for general training students. For letter writing, the topic is going to be simple, and there are 6 types of letters. If you go through those 6 types, I mentioned them in one of my videos. You can learn further about those types. Now, as far as writing task 1, academic, that is concerned, I told you several times that there are 2 types of graphs, because you guys have to write a report and you got to write that report on the graphic information. So there are 2 types of graphs. One is graph with a trend and second is comparative graph. In comparative graph, there is only 1 year and they give you the data on that year and you have to compare the data. And in graph with a trend, there is a time period. It can be a 10-year time period, 20-year time period, and then there are certain fluctuations in the data. So that is what we call graph with a trend. Right, so one is graph with a trend, one is a comparative graph, then we have process diagram, then we have the map as well. So chances are, because in the previous exam there were the graph with the trend and the comparative graph, chances are in somewhere there will be a diagram, a process diagram, chances are, right? And there are the chances for map as well. Okay, but mainly you guys need to focus on a comparative graph and a graph with a trend. And let me tell you, in comparative graph and graph with a trend, there can be a table, there can be a bar chart, there can be a pie chart and all that. So you need to prepare this very carefully, and my videos are available on these 2 type of graphs, so you can easily learn from there. This is about report writing, and remember, watch my other videos on report writing. You can easily write a report and get good bands. It's not going to be very complicated. Whether it's going to be a bar chart, pie chart, whatever, it will not be very complicated, very simple, to the point. And then you'll be able to write, because usually writing is not very difficult. Now, as far as essay writing is concerned, In the previous prediction for January, I already told everybody that you guys need to focus on two type of essays. One is the opinion essay and one is the discussion essay, and there was an opinion essay and some students got discussion essay as well. So again, the same prediction, around 70% chances are there is going to be an opinion essay or there is going to be a discussion essay. So you need to prepare for that. Opinion essay, 5 paragraphs, introduction, first argument to support your opinion, second argument to support your opinion, contrast, and conclusion. Contrast is also called alternative opinion. If it's a discussion essay, you're going to write 4 paragraphs in your discussion essay, introduction, then first side of the argument you will discuss impartially, second side of the argument you will discuss impartially, right? And here you're going to conclude, and in conclusion of discussion essay you're going to give your opinion as well. You will not give your opinion in the first paragraph of a discussion essay. And let me tell you, it is very important for you guys to read the topic of essay at least 4 times. At least 4 times. Read the topic first time and then look here and there. Think about the topic. Then read the topic second time. Then look around. Okay, this is the topic. And when you read the topic, 2 things you must do. One thing is you need to read and understand at the same time. Second, you must underline the words which are related to the topic. You see, in the essay, there is a topic sentence, there is a topic, and there are 4-5 words which are related to that topic. So what you guys need to do, you need to underline those words and then think about the synonyms for those words. What can be the synonym? I mean, what is the topic, or what is the topic vocabulary in this essay topic? And then you can come up with some synonyms and you can use those synonyms when you write your essay. Don't repeat anything from the question. Don't copy anything from the question. And pattern is all there, so you can write your essay easily, and the topic is not going to be very complicated. It's going to be a routine topic as it comes in IELTS, right? So I cannot predict about the topic exactly, and it's foolish to predict about the topic, but actually the type is going to be this. Somewhere, somehow, chances are there can be a problem and solution essay. You need to get ready for that as well. Or there can be advantages, disadvantages essay as well. Because you know, all over the world they are going to conduct the test, and I told you it's not going to be the same test, right? So you can take a look at problem and solution and advantages, disadvantages, but mainly you guys need to focus on opinion essay and discussion essay. And as far as speaking is concerned, you guys don't need to worry about anything. I mean, let me tell you one thing. As far as speaking is concerned, nobody can predict. Nobody can say what they are going to ask you. There's a list of questions which I shared with you in one of my videos. You can go through those questions and be willing to answer every question. I've uploaded a video of Natasha, 2 speaking tests by Natasha. You can just see that as well. And then there is another video where Natasha gives speaking tips. You can watch that as well. So whatever the question is, answer confidently, but there is a key. The key is this. In speaking part 2 mini presentation, your performance must be excellent, because nowadays they don't bother to listen to you very much in section 1 and they don't bother to listen to you very much in section 3. It's only section 2 mini presentation where they decide your band score. So you need to perform exceptionally well in speaking part 2. It doesn't mean don't answer the questions in part 1. Part 1 should be crispy. Answers should be to the point. But actually it's part 2 where examiner decides your band score, where examiner comes to know how is your English and all that. So for part 2, read the topic, jot down the outline of your talk, and then start talking. And remember, do not stop talking as long as the examiner gestures you to stop, or the examiner just gives you a sign to stop. Then you should stop, because you should go on otherwise. And maintain active eye contact with the examiner, use proper intonation, be excited about what you are talking, be happy about what you are talking. So intonation is really important. You should be well dressed, good eye contact, feel great, and all that. You'll be getting good bands in speaking as well. So this was my prediction and preparation video. One last thing, you guys still have some time. So for academic candidates, I would suggest there is a book, and the book is called The Official Cambridge Guide to IELTS. I repeat, The Official Cambridge Guide to IELTS. For academic candidates, I would strongly recommend this book, and please finish this book before your exam. Right? This is the definition of students in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Africa, and everywhere. You know, if you give a book to a student, to a common person, says, okay, I'll finish this book in 3 months. Somebody else will say, I'll finish this book in 1 week. And if you ask a student, when will you finish this book? And the student says, when is the exam? Okay, so they can finish it, I mean, just before the exam or the night before the exam and all that. There are 8 reading tests, there are 8 listening tests, and very good details about listening, very good details about reading, and this is the current book. So that's why I recommend you all that you should go through this book. It is available in the market. If it isn't available, if you have this book, just comment under this video, and then everybody can get it from here as well, right? But this is a fantastic book. I say again, all the latest type of questions, all the new trends in IELTS listening and IELTS reading, you will find them all in this book. So that's why before going to exam, you must go through this book entirely, take all the tests and all that. Well, that's all. I wish you guys all the best with your exam in February, whether it is 2nd February, 9th February, or whenever your exam is. This video is going to help you, and don't worry, I'll make some more videos for March exam as well. If you like this video, hit on the like button, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. I run another channel, Asad Yaqub Vlogs, so you should subscribe to that channel as well. I also teach IELTS online. If you want to join my online IELTS classes, you can contact me for that. My WhatsApp number is given. You can send me a message and I'll send you the details for online classes. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best with your exams. Again, let me tell you, I mean, you need to be above the ceiling. Above the ceiling. What does it mean, above the ceiling? It means if the difficulty level in the exam is this, you are already here, then nothing will be difficult. If the difficulty level is here, you should all be there, right? I mean, you should be one level ahead of the difficulty level. There is one thing, there are many birds. When it rains, the birds find shelter in the trees, under the shades, and wherever they find shelter when it rains. But there is one bird that does not find shelter. That bird flies over the clouds, above the clouds, and then there is no rain out there. So you are my IELTS students. I want you to fly above the difficulty level, and then the difficult test comes and there should be smile on your face that okay, the test is difficult, but thank God I'm very well prepared. I did most difficult test when I was practicing. I did a test that was even more difficult than this test. So for me there is no problem. I can do that. Be an eagle. Fly above the clouds, then rain will not bother you, rain will not disturb you, and you will be able to achieve your goals. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best from Lahore, Pakistan. Again, a very good morning to all of you. Assalamu alaikum to all Pakistanis all over the world and in Pakistan. Namaste India and Indians all over the world. Sat Sri Akal, Indian Punjab and Indian Punjabis in India and all over the world. A great hello to Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Africa and elsewhere. Thank you very much. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.